guys. So I just came from watching, not really watching, but listening over to a Killer Mike song, and I just heard Andre 3000's amazing feature in one of the coolest songs I've listened to of this year. But mind that, in some goats, let's get some goated opinions. I feel like Logan Paul needs to win the Money in the Bank pronto. If it was a secondary option, I would give it to LA Knight. Depending on the performance, we need somebody that can actually grab over the attention of the Money in the Bank. Not Santos Escobar, not Ricochet, for God's sakes, not Ricochet. Ricochet is literally the Evan Bourne of Money in the Bank matches. We need a high flyer jobber to just get a high spot, so they can automatically just get undermined, overrated, skinny ass, pussy ass Ricochet. If he was that good, he could have been pushed around the time he got squashed by Brock Lesnar in Crown Jewel back in 2019. I have never understood the sentiment. All because you do high spots and you have no connected personality means that you're over. There's been a bunch of high flyers that's gotten over because of their moves. And guess what? Fans can actually connect to them because they're actually cool to be around. That's how to be over. You're a star. Rob Van Dam, even though he was also a high spot performer, known on his moves getting over, but people actually liked him. Not Ricochet. I apologize. And I might get some guys upset. But Ricochet brings over a sentiment of making this a racial issue, why he's not getting pushed over in the company. That is sorely not the case. Ricochet is ill-informed and just ill-fitted to even be an upper mid-card, and he should embrace that and at least try to build around his character, because guess what? There's a bunch of guys that are even in worse circumstances than Ricochet was even on NXT, and they even got above the hump. Like, Alexa Bliss was just a manager over on NXT for Buddy Murphy, and whoever that other jobber was, and guess what? She became one of the top women on the roster. LA Knight. The only thing that he had was Cameron Grimes going with him in a feud for the $1 Million Championship. And he's literally one of the better distinct talkers on the roster that actually have 10-year experience on TV, actually can wrestle a decent enough match, connect people, actually have catchphrases that people recognize, and always gets crowd reaction. Logan Paul has clout, distinct performer, actually gets people to care about his matches, and guess what? He can actually perform the same moves Ricochet does. So there's a lot more people that are distinctly doing more than Ricochet, and the same moves, but actually do stuff that actually tell themselves apart from one another. The most Elite Santos Escobar has is Eddie Guerrero's intro in the beginning of his theme song. So don't give me that BS that Ricochet needs to win the Money in the Bank. Anybody with that sore opinion is just like completely ignorant, or they're just blatantly just trying to push over a narrative, trying to feel like all because you do high spot moves mean you deserve to get pushed, i.e. Kofi Mania. I remember somebody put that in the most memorable parts of fucking the 2010s. Not Punk beating Cena at Money in the Bank. Not Shawn Michaels' retirement after he lost to The Undertaker. There's a lot of memorable shit in the 2010s, but it's not Ricochet. It will never be Ricochet. It will never be Kofi Kingston either. Get over yourself. Out of all the people that need to win it, if they're realistically trying to push somebody over for the headline scene, if they're going to go a bit younger, at least go Damian Priest. He has a decent look, menacing finish. He looks like he can talk, and he needed to disband. The Judgment Day needs to disband anyway. You can still keep Rhea Ripley and Dominic together as a cohesive mixed unit. Thinks they can both talk, and he can get heat anyway, while having a muscle woman to get heat for him, i.e. Eddie Guerrero and Chyna back in the Attitude Era. So you can distinctly push that over as a relationship thing and still to conduct heat. Finn Balor's basic by himself anyway. The Judgment Day really hasn't elevated Finn Balor except from what he got back in 2016. We know he's going to lose that Money in the Bank anyway. And Damian Priest at least has staying power because his size. That's practically it. Santos Escobar, Ricochet, Butch is possibly going to get some high spots. The only perennial favorites is possibly going to be Nakamura, LA Knight, or Logan Paul. That it should be. So that's the only opinion. I don't even care about the women's Money in the Bank. Nobody ever cares about them because they're just a ripoff of the men's stipulation matches, and they're not that impressive anyway. I'm sorry, it's harsh, but it's just not interesting. Nobody ever told me, hey, you remember a spot from a women's Money in the Bank match or a women's Royal Rumble match? Women, it's not ignorant if you guys know that. None of you guys ever have a conversation about that. I'm sorry, did you guys see Tiffany with her surprise appearance? Or Michelle McCool, of all people? You really are going to pop over Michelle McCool? You know who else came the same day as Michelle McCool? Edge came back at number 30 and won the 2021 Royal Rumble. It's not misogynistic, it's just pure fact. It's either mix things up, make your own unique stipulation, or make more interesting women. It's not that difficult to tell it apart. And Zoe Starks had the gall, the mitigated gall, to try to think that we need a minor championship when we just made two fucking women's championships to elevate, and they're gonna unify two women's tag teams anyway. So what's the point? Stop making new belts. If that's the case, why not just make your own WWE exclusive network show exclusively so you can do women's storylines? Why is that so difficult? Yet we had like fucking half a decade of like women's 205 Live and a UK and a NXT UK branch that got nobody to be successful except Gunter because he's actually above 5'9". Ridiculous. I don't even know why. I know Cody Rhodes and Lesnar is going to be for SummerSlam, so they're just going to branch off this Cody Rhodes Dominic feud just to get Cody more over so they can build over momentum when Lesnar comes back. And the only interesting thing is still the Bloodline storyline. The Bloodline Civil War, John. Blood crosses the line. Shout out TNA. And Rollins and Finn Balor is possibly going to be a good match, but nobody's going to care. Like, this will be like match of the year, but not really, because we know Rollins is going to win anyway. But, yeah, tell me how you guys feel down below. You guys think LA Knight or Logan Paul should win it, or Ricochet? Tell me how you guys feel down below. I'm going to take my Motrin. Thanks for watching the DST show. Like, comment, subscribe, share, get your notifications. Ugh, I hate doing that.